Hey, sixth grade White House. I miss you. It's week 4 of distance learning, and today I am broadcasting from my favorite spot in my house, which is my backyard. Fun fact, this is what my hair looks like when I take a shower and just let it air dry, which might not mean much to some of the boys out there, but girls, you know what I'm talking about. It's a little cray. It needs a curling iron or a straightener. But quite frankly, neither one of those things are happening. So, this is my backyard. Can you see it? I'm on my deck, and it's lovely. It's a beautiful night. The sun is shining, and I thought, why not take advantage of this opportunity to talk about the second thing that brought all the Greeks together, right? So, just to recap last week, we talked about the fact that geographically, Greece is very, very mountainous. It's filled with mountains, and there's no big mama river. So you put those two things together, and the Greeks had a bunch of different cities, and inside each city, like Athens, Sparta, those are the two most famous ones, and we'll get to those. But inside each city, everybody was really doing their own thing. They had different governments, if you can believe it, inside each Greek city-state. There was no like Greek government. What else did they have? Their art and leisure time was different, how they spent their free time. The role of women, children, all of that was really different. The focus of each city-state, like some city-states were very like military, and others were super like education and arts and learning. So geographically, Greece city-states or Greek city-states were all very separate. They didn't mix with each other very often, and they all had different lifestyles and values. So that's a really important thing to keep in the back of our head, because what we're actually focusing on is the few times that they did come together. So last week we talked about belief system. Belief system was one of the things that brought all of the Greek people together. It didn't matter where you lived inside Greece. You believed in those 12 gods and goddesses of Mount Olympus. So that's number one. That's what we worked on last week. So great job getting that all submitted to me. Hopefully you figured out which god or goddess you are with that quiz, and you watched the YouTube video, and you were able to submit those Google Classroom quick check for understanding comprehension questions. This week's going to be the exact same thing, so keep working through the slides that we've got posted here, and at the end there'll be another 5-question quick check for understanding about this week's topic, which is dun da da da, the Olympics. And actually 1 and 2 are really connected here, because the Olympics are a religious festival, or were, right? So I say are because we have our own version of the Olympics, and the modern day Olympics are really, really tied to the ancient Olympics. So that's one of those things when we say that the ancient civilizations laid the foundation for everything we know and have and do in the modern world. The Olympics is a big one. Of course, the Olympics today are not religious in nature. But that's how they started. They started out as a religious festival to honor the gods, specifically Zeus. So really, number 2 here is an extension of number 1. And it brought people from all over Greece together. They put their differences aside, really to honor the gods, to come together and honor the gods. Now, when I say people, I'm really talking about men here, right? I'm not talking about slaves. I'm not talking about women. I'm not talking about children. This is still the ancients, so we definitely have a different view of women and women's roles and rights during that time period. So carry on, my social studies peeps. This week we're focusing on that theme of uniting the the Greeks coming together for a common purpose. The first thing that brought them all together was their belief system, the gods and goddesses. The second thing was the Olympics. So this week you're going to learn all about the Olympics, how they got started. You know, they took a big old break. So what happened there? How it kind of turned into a modern thing. And ironically, this was supposed to be the summer 2020 Olympics, and those have officially been postponed. So, due to coronavirus. So, we've got a lot of current events, a lot of things from the now that are tied back to the then. Okay, so keep doing your socialize thing, keep plugging along. There's a couple things I really want you to do. Make sure you submit, and then there's an extension or like just for fun thing at the end. And I'll see you back here next week as we're continuing this big idea of when the Greeks did unite. What was it for? What was it for? 1, belief system. 2, Olympics. And next week we'll talk about the third one. All right? Have a great week. I know it's supposed to be spring break, but we're kind of on like a break. So keep plugging along. It's good for our brains. And I promise I'm not going to hand you anything that's too complicated or too tricky or frustrates you. So just keep plugging along at it. And feel free to drop me a line, send me an email, or let me know where you were supposed to go this week on spring break. My family was supposed to be going to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, with another family, really good friends of ours. And we were going to stay in this awesome resort that was like Caribbean themed with a bunch of pools. And we were going to stop on the way back in Washington, D.C., which is such an amazing city when you are a social studies teacher. And Mr. Anderson's brother works on Capitol Hill, so we were going to get some VIP access to some very cool stuff in Washington, D.C. and get to see his brother. So obviously that's not happening for the Andersons, but that's okay. We'll figure it out. Feel free to let me know what was supposed to be going on for your spring break. I miss you all, and I hope you're having a good week. Enjoy the sunshine, get outside, and I'll see you next week.